Hi, I'm Ella, and I'm 30 years old. There's a big change coming up in my life right now, but before I tell you about that, I want to share the events that led to this change. This story centers around two main characters, my husband Danny and my mother-in-law Kim. Danny and I met through a dating app. At the time, I wasn't interested in a relationship at all. I had been on so many dates that I had given up hope of ever finding someone to settle down with. But that changed when I met Danny. From our first text exchange, I knew there was something different about him. He asked interesting, non-intrusive questions and kept the conversation flowing effortlessly. We would text until the early hours of the morning because we always had so much to talk about. When we finally met in person, I was worried the spark we had over text would vanish and the date would be awkward. But as soon as we started talking, it felt just like it did over text. Our first date was followed by many more, where we spent hours together without realizing how much time had passed. After dating for around 2 years, we decided to throw caution to the wind and get married. It might seem like a short time to some, but when you know, you know. We both felt it in our souls that we were meant for each other. Our relationship had been the most amazing thing that had ever happened to me. I wasn't going to let that go. We had a small, intimate wedding with only those closest to us. Everything was perfect until the reception. Danny's mother, Kim, approached us. Although I was cautious, she seemed surprisingly nice, which was odd given her history of treating me poorly. We soon found out why she was being so nice. She tried to spill her wine on my dress to ruin it. Thankfully, Danny had quick reflexes and pulled me away before any wine touched my dress. We didn't confront her but quickly moved away and socialized with the rest of our guests. However, the night was somewhat ruined because we were paranoid that Kim would try to harm me again. You might be wondering why Kim tried to do that. Let me tell you about our complicated relationship. From the moment I met her, she seemed to hate me and made it abundantly clear. When Danny first introduced me to her, she loudly gasped and said my ugliness took her by surprise. While I knew I didn't fit conventional beauty standards, being called ugly outright was hurtful. During the rest of that meeting, she continued to insult me, and I didn't say a word back because who would confront their partner's parents? But Danny had my back. In the middle of that meal, he got up, paid for our portion, and we left. Kim didn't take that well and bombarded him with calls and messages. Danny made it clear to her that if she didn't respect me, he wouldn't stay in contact with her. I felt terrible about what I was doing to Danny's relationship with his mom. They had been very close, and she had single-handedly raised him. I had a huge breakdown about it, and Danny was there for me. Did I actually do something wrong to your mother? Did I say something I shouldn't have? Did I dress wrong? I asked him. No, darling, not at all. I don't even know why she's behaving this way, he replied. I wouldn't mind her treating me this way, but it's affecting your relationship with her, and I don't like that, I said. Listen to me, Ella. Unless you actually did something wrong, I don't see any reason why I should continue to be nice to my mother, he reassured me. But she's your only family. You can't let me get in between that. You'll be my new family then. My mother needs to apologize for what she did, and only then will I be nice to her. You don't have to worry about a thing. Thank you so much for being on my side in all this, Danny. Of course, honey. I love you, and you've been nothing but super nice about this whole thing. But you need to stop thinking that you're the one causing all this. This is just bringing out my mother's true colors, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing. It was really comforting to have Danny on my side. He reassured me every time he and Kim fought about their lack of communication. Kim's hatred for me only grew over the next few years. Every time we met, which was only on holidays, she tried to hurt me. Danny always stood between us. But that never stopped her from trying to get to me. Whenever Danny and I tried to talk to her, she lashed out, accusing us of treating her like she was crazy. We always spoke to her calmly and gently, but she got aggressive very quickly. She never failed to tell us what she thought of me, believing I was brainwashing Danny into pulling away from her. She even thought I was blackmailing him to leave her so I could have him all to myself. Of course, Danny never stayed quiet about it. He constantly fought for me, telling her on many occasions to leave us alone. He even blocked her on every platform so she couldn't contact us. But Kim was relentless. She showed up at our house and demanded that Danny speak to her. We had a huge argument at our doorstep, which escalated into a screaming match between Danny and Kim, loud enough that our neighbors started tuning in. I calmly and politely asked Kim to leave and suggested we talk about it over the phone once we'd all calmed down. Instead of listening, she shoved me aside forcefully and told me to shut up. Danny saw red and called the police, asking them to escort her off our property because she refused to leave. Kim cried and screamed, not expecting Danny to call the cops on her. She tried to put her hands on me again, blaming me for changing Danny, but Danny stood between us, preventing her from harming me. The cops arrived just in time to see her trying to strangle me and quickly held her back and escorted her away. After that, Danny and I decided to file a restraining order against her. It was a tough decision, but we had no other choice. I tried my best to be civil with Kim, but she never wanted to be nice. We had the restraining order served to her, and she immediately called us. Danny put his phone on speaker mode so I could hear and contribute to the conversation if needed. "What is the meaning of this?" Kim demanded. "Meaning of what?" Danny replied. "This restraining order. Kim, you know you've been unnecessarily aggressive towards Ella these past few months. You've shown up at our doorstep and tried to assault her. So you're the reason my son sent me this restraining order. You poisoned his mind with all these awful things." "She did no such thing. You've been horrible to deal with," Danny interjected. "What kind of son is comfortable sending his own mother an order restricting her access to him?" Kim continued. "What kind of mother tries to strangle her son's wife?" Danny shot back. "Stay out of our lives, or I will make things worse for you. I'm sorry it has come to this, but if you change your behavior, we will resign the order." Wow, you create the problem and then try to get all the recognition for solving it. I don't want any of your apologies. I will ruin you, just you wait and watch. That's enough now. Goodbye, Danny said firmly. It was disappointing to hear Kim still be so rude. What would it take for her to learn to be nice? Every day, I couldn't help but wonder if I had done something to upset her. Danny and I had multiple conversations about it, going over every possibility, but she deemed me ugly within the first 5 seconds of meeting and proceeded to hate me ever since. Maybe she was upset that Danny had another woman in his life, which I could understand, given it had been just the two of them for a long time. But to actively try to hurt me and our relationship was neither okay nor normal. I suggested therapy to her on several occasions over the years, but she always said she was fine and that the only thing that would fix her was me getting out of her and Danny's life. Of course, there was no way I was leaving Danny's life, and even if I wanted to, he would never have let me leave for that reason. We tried our best to be civil with Kim, but it didn't work. She took to telling the rest of Danny's family about my supposed evil doings, and Danny ended up getting a lot of concerned calls. Even though Danny handled the situation, it surprised me how easily Kim managed to convince everyone of her beliefs. Either she was very influential in the family or she was just really good at lying. My bets were on the latter. After she received the restraining order, she stopped coming by our place, although I did catch her loitering just outside our house. She would just stand there and watch our house. Seeing someone just standing there and staring can be quite creepy. Danny and I called the police several times, but somehow she always managed to disappear before they arrived. Eventually, she stopped showing up, and we thought we were finally free. Then our mail began disappearing. Many things I ordered in letters from my family never arrived. Whenever I checked the mailbox, the mail was gone. It was really frustrating because I was missing out on beautiful letters from my family and none of my orders were being refunded, despite delivery confirmations. Danny and I suspected Kim was behind it. We knew she was bitter and angry with us. We didn't agree with her methods and didn't want to engage with her. If she thought this would get us to talk to her, she was wrong. Instead, we bought a noticeable camera and attached it to the mailbox with a note stating that the area was under surveillance. Sure enough, we saw Kim standing in her usual spot and staring at the house when we were at work. Then she approached the mailbox, read the note, and turned away. We didn't say anything because at least she seemed to take the note seriously. One day, I was at work when I got a call from Kim. She was blocked on my phone, but she called my company and had them get me on the line. I didn't even want to know how she found out where I worked because it would have only made me more paranoid. "Hi, Ella." "Kim, why are you calling me?" "Oh, I just wanted to let you know about something I did." "Okay." These past few months, all I could think about was how much I hated you for ruining my relationship with my son. First of all, that's very unhealthy. Secondly, I didn't do any of that. You did that to yourself by hating me so much and trying to ruin your son's relationship because of that hatred. I'm not done, Ella. I really don't have time for this. Oh, you will definitely have time for this when I tell you what I did. Like I said, I was so consumed by my thoughts that one day it hit me. I didn't have to get near you to hurt you. Kim, what did you do? Nothing too big for me, really. I just happened to walk by your place when I saw your car parked by the sidewalk. I had my keys in my hand, and next thing I knew, I was scratching up your car real good like a mad person with them. Here, let me send you a couple of pictures. I was confused because from where I was sitting by the window, I could clearly see my car parked there. I knew that Danny wasn't home either, and we both had distinctly different cars. So if neither of our cars was there, whose car was it and why was it parked by our place? My questions were answered when I received the pictures Kim had emailed me. Considering she was blocked everywhere else, the car was indeed scratched up really well, but it wasn't mine. I took a closer look at the number plate and instantly recognized whose car it was. It belonged to Senator John. We had a senator who lived in our neighborhood, known for being able to get away with small things like bad parking. Although he was genuinely a nice guy, everyone liked him and no one complained. In fact, Danny and he were quite amicable. If there was one thing I knew about John, it was that he took his cars very seriously. That man never had a speck of dirt on his cars, and he had fired multiple people who washed them because they didn't clean them well enough. It was no surprise that he was going to lose his mind when he saw his car all scratched up. I was upset that Kim had gone so far, but I knew this was going to be her true learning moment. I took a couple of pictures of my car sitting in the parking lot and sent them to her. What? Cat got your tongue. I really don't know what to say. Kim, of course you don't. This is definitely beyond anything you could have imagined. I told you I would ruin you, and this is just the beginning. Oh, and listen, I hear the police coming down the street. I don't know how to tell you this, but that's not my car. What? Don't lie to me. If this is your way of trying to make me feel bad, it's not going to work. No, seriously, my car is parked at work. I took a couple of pictures and sent them to you. Why don't we take a look? But, whose car did I scratch? That would be the senator's car. Senator John, who, by the way, is very particular about his cars. What? Oh, Kim, if you wanted to cause me harm, the least you could have done was check whose car it was. What do I do? Face the consequences of your actions. Take care, Kim, goodbye. A part of me was excited to see what would happen to Kim. It brought me a certain level of satisfaction to hear her shiver as I told her whose car she had damaged. I immediately called Danny to tell him what had happened. While he was shocked and angry that she had even attempted to do something to me, he couldn't help but laugh at how things had turned out for her. By the time I was done with work, I had received a call from the police station requesting Danny and me to come down. At the station, we gave our statements, emphasizing that Kim had a vendetta against me and that we had a restraining order against her. It didn't help Kim's case that she was at the scene of the crime, even though she denied doing it. The police asked if we had any security cameras around our home, and I told them about the one attached to our mailbox. We reviewed the footage and surprise, it clearly showed Kim scratching the car like a mad person. Senator John was understandably furious. He'd approached Danny to have a word. Danny, I think you're a great guy, but this is inexcusable. I fully agree with you, John. I don't think what my mom did deserves any forgiveness. Really? I thought you tried to defend her. She tried to do that to my wife's car. I would have done the same thing you're doing if she had succeeded. Why would she even want to do that to Ella? She's a lovely woman. That's what I've tried to tell my mom, but she refuses to believe that my wife is anything less than evil. That's a shame. Even so, I'm really sorry for what my mother did. If you need me to cover any of the costs of the car, let me know. Nonsense. I approached you to tell you that I will be pursuing the highest punishment possible. She will pay for the damages. I just didn't want us to have any hard feelings. No hard feelings on my side, John. Do whatever you think is fair. Senator John was not lying when he said he would pursue maximum punishment. Over the next few weeks, Kim was taken to court. Her behavior was reviewed, and many testimonies were given regarding her actions. In our state, damage to property worth over $500 results in a felony charge, along with a fine of above $1,000 and potential jail time. Finally, a verdict was given. Kim was charged with damage to personal property, fined $5,000, and sentenced to 2 years of jail time. Kim broke down and sobbed as the verdict was given. I once again felt a little bad, but Danny seemed relieved. For the next 2 years, we wouldn't have to deal with her harassment. Kim was escorted out of the courtroom and taken away. Senator John approached us again to apologize, but we assured him that he had only done what was right. Even though we were still worried about the future, once Kim finished her sentence, we felt a sense of peace. A few weeks after she began serving her time, she started sending us letters, detailing how she would make our lives hell once she got out. Neither Danny nor I wanted to continue dealing with her, so we made the tough decision to move out of our town. Thankfully, we both always wanted to leave but were too focused on our careers to make a change like that. As I'm writing this, Danny and I are packing our things to move to Europe, where we both have found better jobs. We're set to move in a month, and I cannot wait to start fresh. It's going to be hard to adjust, but it will all be worth it in the end. We haven't told anyone from either of our families that we're moving yet, and when we do, we won't give them any details. We can't have Kim finding out where we are and harassing us again. It was a tough call to leave everything we knew behind because of one person, but it's going to be the best decision we've made. I can already feel it.